shirt to wear. What about you, Black? What do you think?
LGD as well.
Okay, fair enough. Let's get into the game then. Beacon Black, take it away for game number 3.
I know you're stunned by that flame, but that's fine. I quite like your shirt, to be honest, so don't worry about it. The only opinion that matters is, of course, mine. That's why I'm standing next to you.
Guys, don't understand the
You're fine.
the
you're fine.
rules
Stop,
of
stop
casual
thinking about
Friday.
It. Stop thinking about it. Don't be so scared. Like, what's the opposite of confident? Scared.
Not
Fearful.
confident.
Not confident.
No confidence.
Yeah, believe in your style, man. You look great.
I think I look good.
Yes, you look great.
That's why I wore it. That's why I brought it.
To be fair, Morphling crushes Ember, and Troll is gonna have a pretty decent time also. And yep, that Supernova is never gonna pop.
Fly.
Nice.
All right, he's got Shikuchi.
He's fine. How did you play Phoenix this game? We'll see. Maybe you don't play.
Having
Arrow.
potentially bad eggs.
Oh,
I don't know if we've had bad eggs before, but they're not good.
yeah, that's what I call bad egg.
Yeah, well, one bad egg.
2 bad egg.
I forget what the saying is.
3 bad egg.
4.
But yeah, this matchup
Bad
mid lane
eggs?
is super tough for Ember. One of the hardest matchups in Dota for him.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that they've got the Morphling. Both these teams play this, Morphling in the 1 and the 2. It seems to be a common trend throughout the Chinese teams. Obviously, Fly plays it. That's what we were talking about in Game 1, that it's his most memorable hero. Goes back onto the Weaver, which he was playing in that Game 1, but you see nothing to say. He also plays the Morph, and they've also got the Troll on Ame. So another one of those potential Battle Fury builders, but we'll see what he goes for.
Lane is a bit annoying until level 3. Then Morph really starts to pop off, and after that there's really no timing.
Ooh, first blood coming out from Faith Beyond
Without
onto
arrow even.
Ali. Yeah, just running him down, and I mean, this is a lane that can get very difficult to deal with as you get more and more levels into the boars, and that's slow. If you don't have Icarus Dive, you're in trouble.
Yep. And we said mid lane, it's gonna be super tough too. Bot lane, I mean, I'm not sure why they picked that Weaver really into Beastmaster as well as Troll. Doesn't strike me as amazing, you know?
Could they have fallen back into comfort and maybe think that the Weaver works enough so where Fly, he's on a comfortable hero and thinks he can play it well enough?
It's possible. It just doesn't match up super well into the course of LGD at all. Like if Morph gets E-Blade at some point, you're super scared of dying. You get Rawed, you're dead. You can't really man-fight a Troll. You can probably deal with the supports, but even Mirana can just leap away, get a ult at some point, set up on you. Yeah. I mean, the main reason why I chose LGD is just like this, I'm not convinced at all by this Weaver pick.
Yeah, you're watching a big part, in my eyes, of utility just get countered, and a lot get countered by the LGD draft for IG. Yeah. So it's tough. Like, when you see the fact that they can kill an egg, which we've seen in the previous games be very important, they have the ability to blow it up immediately, it's hard to have confidence in a lineup like that. But, you know, IG, they're at the top. They've shown that they can, you know, break through adversity. So we'll see. Can they do it here? Can they win Game 3? Can they take a series off of LGD? Because this one is super important for LGD.
Yep. Otherwise, IG, I believe, is 5-0.
And the percentage chance for, obviously, LGD goes down, but they would fall to 2 and 3, which could mean no major.
Yeah, not a good look. But the way this game is shaping up to be, it should be quite good for them. So I'm not really too worried. They just have to make sure they don't make too many mistakes in the mid game.
Yeah.
Late game, they don't lose. No way. They have Troll as well as more of Troll late game monsters. They just really need to weather the storm. Get okay out of mid game. You know, get their core items up. You can't really go greedy on either Morph or Troll, so you'll probably see E-Blade and Maelstrom. An early Javelin can really mess up a Timbersaw as well.
Right.
When you have it on Troll. You suddenly deal a lot of damage.
I think that this lineup, at least for LGD, you're seeing with the Beastmaster, the Morph, and the Troll, you're saying that you don't want to have these long build-ups, no Battle Fury, you want to go Maelstrom. This is looking at if LGD takes these early fights, they take 2 or 3 heroes out, objectives are going to go down very quickly.
Yeah, they're going to have this Necro. Morphling in general is an amazing objective taker.
So is Troll with the Beastmaster. Yep. Like, that could be devastating. You lose a fight, lose 2 towers, like, that's numbers and that's objectives, and your map gets smaller.
The only thing that owns Morph in this game, potentially, is Shadow Shaman, with like some Blink Hex initiation. But if he doesn't have a good game, he really has nothing to worry about this game.
Yeah, we've seen Kaka on the money with that Shadow Shaman, so it's not, it's hard, but we've seen better from Kaka, so I have confidence that, you know, he can make something happen.
Yeah, picking up DD rune.
Ooh, freezing over.
Might be in trouble here. Kaka just pick up.
Yeah, forced the TP. A couple shots coming in. That sends him back, but this is now a solo lane here for Ame. So JT forced to retreat. Good Timber Chain and Whirling Death actually on Ame. He might want to be careful about how far he goes. That being said, Ancient Apparition is coming over. Not quickly enough though. JT retreating again with that Timber Chain.
Yeah. Bot lane. I mean, Weaver is definitely a good lane against Beastmaster. Until level 6 hits at least. You don't really care about the board slow at all. And your Gemini Detect always gives you free last hits.
All right.
Pretty good lane. So in that regard, it makes sense. It's just coming to mid-late game. That's where I really see the struggles. He probably has to itemize this game into a Lincoln Sphere. But yeah, that means you would either have to go Lincoln's BKB, which I hate on pretty much every hero. So he just doesn't give you any damage or anything. Or you have to play without BKB, which is rough against AA, Mirana, Morphling. So either way, it's going to be tough. Morphling, when he reaches level 6, you can also just TP to the Timber lane, morph into that Timber, and Whirling Death him. It's a lot of damage, of course, to his attributes.
No, there's a lot of heroes here that I think Morphling's okay with moving into, right?
For sure.
Ooh, Friesen has the Timber Chains.
Yeah.
It's a way to stop it.
Yeah. 1k lead already for LGD. Lane's going very well.
Yeah, you can see nothing to say. Out CSing this Ember by 9. Now 10. Icarus dive across. Ame in a bit deep. Kaka getting low, but he's back behind the tower. And this will be a kill onto Ame, who has found himself in no man's land. This isn't the first time we've seen him be out too far in this series. Obviously in this game, first time, but throughout the series, we've seen it a couple times.
Yeah. It's usually more, like it shows it even more when he has another carry in the mid lane. Where he like thinks he's not like the super pos 1, you know, where he physically has to play much more aggressively.
Right.
We've seen his monkey especially just be completely like just between tier 1 and 2 towers, minute 5. Yeah, his mindset shift is very interesting. It's very extreme also. But you know, this game is definitely the right approach to the game. Although he's struggling a little bit right now.
Need to be careful if Troll comes back into the lane and shows, but he's backed off into the jungle, so they're just going to leave this tier 1 tower open. We'll see if they rotate to try and defend it. Got a Remnant back towards bottom, so Emo has left. But seeing that JT and Ollie are getting uncontested, he has the ability to do so. Though Jinkyu does snipe the catapult. That's a good feeling for this Mirana. Will slow down this push and potentially even just stop it from going down. That's a good defense there from LGD. A pretty simple one that doesn't cost more than an arrow.
Yeah, super good TP. Jinkyu gets rid of the catapult, as you said, and Troll rotates back in to defend the tower. You really don't want to lose your safe lane tower minute 7 at the beginning. It's way too early. But Timber is putting out a lot of pressure.
Yeah, Ame, and with that Sunray, they're going to TP in this morph, and now JT might want to be careful. Chakram Timber Chain across. Ame trying to survive, but there's the Whirling Death. JT just runs him down and ends up getting killed himself from Jinkyu. So there will be a trade there, but that's the second time that they have lost this Troll.
His game has been slowed down immensely. He has had a great laning phase at the beginning, but now those 2 deaths set him back a lot. You don't really want to rush like naked Maelstrom. It's pretty awkward, you know, like having no boots and stuff. But he might just have to this game to catch back up. Because Morphling is having a really good time. Like
yeah.
He's sitting 1k ahead of the Ember Spirit.
Ahead of his Troll, too. I mean, yeah, Ame's just not having a good time at the moment, but he's still 500 gold away from picking up the Maelstrom.
Yeah, and he's going straight into the E-Blade, as you spoke about. You don't want to go for any like greedy sort of items. You can't get away with it if you have 2 farm-dependent cores. But top lane again, Timber pressuring the tower, and this time they might not be able to defend it.
Bottom's taking a lot of damage as well. They've got the Necro 1 as well as the Boars hitting into the tier 1. Ali comes over and will try to help defend with Fly. They've brought 3 heroes down here. Primal Roar is used. They've got the Cold Feet. Do they have it freezing over? No, the time lapse. That comes out.
Arrow on cooldown? If so, they had a big miscommunication there. There was no arrow follow-up at all. Phoenix was in position to tank the arrow because he also thought it was coming, but it just didn't come.
Yeah.
At least they would have killed the Phoenix. But, yeah.
So now Primal Roar on cooldown for 70 seconds. Faith Beyond still just trying to farm up those Necro books.
He's actually going straight Maelstrom. No boots Maelstrom.
And it feels like you have to, but now he's getting chased by JT once again. Root under the tower. Is anybody going to TP here to help?
He has no mana to ult right now on Troll. He has to be really careful here. If he dies again, his game could just be disastrous.
Yeah.
He
He's
does
already
have
so
the
far
chip
behind.
vest at least, so he has some good
Kaka?
health region.
Coming over and
Ooh.
will make his way in. They've got the Hex. They have the Ether Shock. Chakram can't get that ult off. And he was just a few gold away from picking up that Maelstrom. And now, well, he's behind on it once again. So they are consistently shutting down the Troll. The one thing that they're not successfully doing at the moment is getting this Morphling. But the Troll is a big factor to LGD's team and as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. Like, they can't just leave him behind, but at the same time, they can't really help him too much either. You know, I just feel like he's farming no arrow. Oh, there he misses.
Jump in with Star Storm, Remnant away, Fly, putting some pressure on a Jin Q.
Now you see how awkward this Troll. Like, he's just TPing bottom, no boots, a 300 movement speed. So sluggish. He has a lot of catching up to do this game.
Yeah, if they can open up the space for him, that would be great. But that's not the intentions of their draft. They're not looking to open up space for the Troll. They're trying to play this fast where they can get into this mid game and feel confident, but they're not going to be able to do so.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an awkward game for Ame. Hopefully he will find 1 or 2 good kills. They're now trying to farm an ancient stack with nothing really.
It's a bit tough. Maelstrom being delivered soon.
Yeah.
Going top to try and catch JT.
Who has his hood up already. Going into Eternal Shroud right off the bat. It's a great item for Timber. Deals a lot of spell damage, of course, and that life leech really comes in handy. However, they do have an A. Once he hits 6, which he just did with the Tome, they can kill him very easily. 1 Mirana arrow, or 1 Roar.
Yeah, could see the Roar into the arrow, Ice Blast. That should be able to get a kill on potentially everybody if you've got the proper follow-up. We saw that they struggled with killing off Fly for a moment, but maybe that doesn't happen with an Ice Blast. As well as the fact that these Necros are now Necrobook level 2, getting close to the Necro 3.
Yeah. And Morphling will have to join some fights early this game because the Troll is the one who has some catching up to do.
He purchased that Ghost Scepter to start, going for the Eagle Song, 2,000 gold away from picking it up and finishing off the E-Blade. That's going to be a timing for them when they get this E-Blade, have that Necro 3. All of a sudden, it could feel like a moment to jump.
And nobody is itemizing into Vessel here. Kaka, no, he's fine. So, no Vessel. Even though he doesn't build Manta, he's going to feel very, very happy about that. Because it's one of the biggest counters to Morphling. This game, won't have to worry about it. Ember prioritizing his own items instead, going for Maelstrom, which allows him to scale. If you go Vessel first on Ember, you really have to get a lot of kills done. Because otherwise, you're just going to be a non-factor come mid-game. And now, tables have turned. 1k lead for IG.
Yeah, IG starting to take a lead, and that's because the Troll continues to fall further and further behind. He's finally
Still
got
no
boots on Ame, getting
Courier.
delivered.
Yeah. Incredibly slow build up on the Troll.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles for him right now, and he's hoping to make a comeback. And that might open up if Nothing to Say is able to make something happen when he picks up this E-Blade. They go after bottom, they just can't finish anybody. They do have pressure here where they could take the tier 1 tower. That would be nice for them to take. But the defense is ready for IG.
Yeah, preparing AO to fly to bot lane. Flying out soonish. See what we can do with it.
They have Primal Roar. Ice Blast is going to be on to 4. This is a great Ice Blast, and will they follow it up? Arrow now hits onto JT, but they're in the trees. They don't want to go for this. That's very timid from the side of LGD.
The problem is that they're ready. They're prepared. It's very tough to run into a Phoenix egg like that, into a Timber, into an Ember.
Yeah.
Very strong defense there by IG. They also recognize they don't want to lose their mid or safe lane tower. It would give too much space to the side of LGD, who have 2 pretty greedy cores. So you don't want to just give that away for free. However, 1,000 gold, then E-Blade Morphling online.
Yeah, Faith Beyond has that Necro 3 recipe flying out. So he's going to have that Necro 3. They'll have that vision. Might have a way to catch this Weaver, but there's the Remnant in. Supernova committed. Faith Beyond is gone. They've got the Shackle. Great job from Kaka to grab that double kill there for JT. Taking out both these heroes bottom, and now pressure onto the tier 1 in the off lane of LGD. And this is exactly what IG wanted. They'll extend that lead to 2K, drop down the Serpent Wards, commit, and take it. But meanwhile, mid-tier 1, yeah, that's going to go down. That'll cut where they have the ability to farm. That gives them an opening, but it's not the safe lane tower and the mid tower that really opens up the opposite side of the map.
So creating towers on both sides. However, Morphling will have his power spike very soon. Just 300 gold for that E-Blade. And once that's online, no hero feels tanky. Not this Timber, not Ember, Phoenix, they're all just gonna die.
Yeah. I will say, Troll has found some space to work with. He's just about even with the Ember, and he's gaining more and more ground with how much pressure LGD put bottom and the commitment that came out from IG bottom. They look over, they'll find Ali, Sunray trying to leave. Ice Blast, can he lead him? It looks like he will, so well, Jingq gets credit for the kill onto Ali. That's a pickoff for LGD, and the E-Blade now finished for nothing to say.
Only 3 levels in Adaptive Strike, not quite maxed yet, so it's not at its full potential, but still more than enough damage. They don't have Ice Blast right now, so this Timber might be a little bit too tanky.
They want to chase.
They have a ward there, they also know.
They could push him off the tower, take the tier 1.
There's smoke behind them, though.
They're going to smoke. They've got the Hex onto the Ancient Apparition, looking to get this kill, but there's the E-Blade and the Adaptive Strike to take out Kaka, so it's a support trade with the arrow flying in. That'll send Emo back. They still want to go in forward for this. Nothing to say, in a lot of trouble. Has a waveform to grant some distance. Icarus dive over. Moonlight Shadow. Primal Roar is used, but the Searing Chains hits both of them. Nothing to say, trying to survive, but he's under the Chakram. They don't have the help here from the Troll. He doesn't want to come over into the fight. They'll end up losing the Morphling. They look over at Faith Beyond. The arrow flies in. That hits onto the Ember. Might save Faith Beyond, but JT's just in too far. Supernova down. The egg looking like it might pop, and it does on the last shot. Ice Blast coming in, and that hits on a Fly, who might die.
Timber in trouble here too.
Timber's in trouble. They'll get the kill on a Fly, and JT Innocence gets the double. That's a little bit of a salvage for LGD.
It could have been so much worse if they got one more hit on that egg.
Yeah.
This fight would have been very LGD favored, but they still lose 2 very important cores with that late rotation from the Troll. I still do think he needs to join those fights earlier. Like, as I said, you can't afford to be greedy with a draft like this.
Right.
He still ends up joining the fight, gets 2 kills for him, and that puts him back into this game, really. He's closing on his BKB, getting the bot tower. Good stuff.
Morphling gonna farm up some Serpent Wards here.
Has to be a little bit careful bottom. He's all by himself here.
Troll, he's spotted. They're gonna bring the Timber over. Ame, he's got no ult, 36 seconds. Sunray just burns him out. I mean, there's no chance for him. He's farming in a very aggressive spot. And to try and keep him safe, Innocence is here, but they don't keep him safe, and they just lose both their lives.
Yeah. That's like the 3rd time he's been caught out of position. He's playing very, very aggressively. Let's just put it that way.
Playing with fire.
Yeah.
And the fire's burning.
He's getting punished every time.
It's just not on the dance floor. Over mid, Mirana trying to leap away, has one more leap.
Yeah, A up in 5, so Timber has to be a little bit careful.
They do have Primal Roar, and they're going to use that onto the Timber. They hit the arrow on a Fly, but this is all to disengage. It's an odd Primal Roar on JT.
Very odd.
Because you know well, we know that they're just not getting that kill with the backup there.
And they should know too, because he's incredibly tanky, and AA was dead. We said they need the blast to kill the Timber Saw, and they really do. We saw it there. It drops to half health, thanks to that E-Blade. But if there's a Vortex on top, there's an AA ult on top, he will die there.
Yep.
That's like the second Raw that we have seen just like randomly on a target without really any follow-up. So there's like slight miscommunications coming in from LGD. And those are not the kind of mistakes that you can allow yourself with a greedy lineup like this.
So the greed so far not paying off.
It's still okay. Like you're 2K behind. You can probably stomach that, considering your draft. You know, you don't really have like a conventional playmaker.
Like you said, late game, should be LGD.
For
If they
sure.
can make it through the mid game, they're pretty close right now. It's 20 minutes in just about. You still have the Morphling leading the way. The problem is your two other cores are starting to fall far behind.
Yeah, but when the two BKBs come online, they really don't have anything to go through it.
Right.
Only Supernova, but that thing will just get beaten up in seconds. Troll focuses it, Morphing focuses it, it's gone. And Timber might seem tanky, but if you morph into that Timber, you're willing death him 2 or 3 times, he will die very fast as well.
Ooh, Innocence using that Ice Blast, just not leading, and now he might just die for this. Kaka, he's got the Aether Lens, Moonlight Shadow. There's a Sentry available, which they will place, but they're not going to continue to chase on Innocence. At least that's what I think. But Emo wants to move in and misses the Searing Chains.
They do get a tower pre-20, though they have 15 seconds to take this outpost. Will be pretty damn big for them.
They have enough heroes here to get it. There's no
Also
way that
enough
they
for it.
don't.
That's a lot of lost experience for Dia.
Yep.
And
Troll just a recipe away from the BKB.
yeah, 900 gold off. Morphling, just about the same. 900 gold off as well. Once those 2 BKBs are online, damage is very limited on the Radiant side. They will have to fight those BKBs.
I don't think they're aware of this Roche.
They're forcing Roche.
Ice Blast is going to spot it, but they're not near, and they don't have an outpost to TP to.
It's a really good Roche. They recognize they can't fight at all without the BKBs. And just like 1,000 of BKBs on both cores, they don't want to commit into a Roche fight like that. If you lose that fight, you lose Roche as well, and the game just snowballs out of control. So good decision by IG, but also good decision by LGD to not try to mingle with them.
Not overcommit. Know where your cap is at.
Yeah, your cores are not ready.
Yep. Faith Beyond thought he might go into the Solar Crest off that medallion, but it's the
Smoked up
Blink Dagger,
already.
and now Soda Searing Chains, arrow coming in, and that's going to hit onto Emo. But you're fighting into the Sunray, you're fighting into the Aegis, and you just don't want to make that move. You're willing to give up that Ancient Apparition.
Yeah. Also, Aegis picked up on the Ember Spirit, not the Weaver. Gotta keep that in mind.
Time lapse. That gets used.
Probably because he killed the melee Necro, 600 health. Heal that back up real quick. And he did itemize into the Lincoln Sphere. So Raw, not an issue anymore, but no BKB. If he ever gets arrowed or anything like that, he will be in trouble.
Right.
And it's not hard to set up. Smoke now with the double BKB.
Fighting into the Aegis. This is a interesting play that could backfire heavily.
This Timber is quite tanky, has a Lotus Orb now. But still, if he gets A blasted, he will die.
And they have the Hawk, so they have vision of JT. They just got to come over, and
They have
well,
been
he's already
unsmoked.
gone.
Ember remnanted from bottom back to the Ancients, and while the remnant flies through, you also reveal smokes.
Wow.
So there was a pretty lucky by IG there, but you know, works out greatly for them.
Yeah.
So why not? Sometimes just gotta get lucky. Sometimes the region rune spawns minute 4.
Just like Daft Punk says with Pharrell, got to get lucky. Fly working on this Orchid. And
Orchid
Kaya
and
for the
Weaver.
Timber.
Interesting. I would... Not the biggest fan of that item, simply because he is the guy that's supposed to deal physical damage later. And he's itemizing to like an Orchid. Much rather see something like a Skadi against the Morph Troll or a Daedalus. Just damage. Like this Orchid is somewhat cute, but you're fighting into BKBs already.
Yeah, you're fighting to the BKBs. Maybe it's just to get a silence, get that little extra moment of a save there. Potentially on Beastmaster. Stop that Primal Roar.
It just doesn't strike me. Like, in general, it's not a great item on Weaver, in my opinion. And especially in this case, when it's this late, it kind of feels like a wasted item.
Right.
We'll see what kind of use you get out of it, though.
Still have a
Always
couple
happy
minutes
to
on
be
the
proven
Aegis.
wrong.
Certainly. Yeah. I love watching getting proven wrong. Happens to me a lot.
Yep.
But I don't say the smartest things, so I line it up for me to just be proven wrong pretty easily.
Well, that's what I'm here for, to keep you in check.
So Orchid finished for the Weaver. Basher next for the Troll. You've got these 10-second BKBs ready to go. E-Blade Lincoln's next for nothing to say. Might be tough to rely on that Linken's if it's Orchid Hex or Hex Orchid.
I'm not a big fan of Linken's BKB, as I said before. Much rather see a Manta style. Or a 6 Yasha.
They're wrapping around, and now they're going to go with the Remnants. Forward, Searing Chains on both the Troll as well as the Ancient Apparition. They get the kill on Innocence. They'll look towards the rest. Sunray used. Believe that was without the Ag so far for Ember, but he's only 400 gold away from it.
Yep, and then it becomes a jumpy gumpy.
BKB popped by Nothing to Say. E-Blade Adaptive Strike popping the Linken's that was passed over from Fly onto the Shadow Shaman. JT onto the backlines looking over at Faith Beyond. They've got the Supernova down. They have the Searing Chains as well as the Silence onto the Morphling. They're going to try and take out this Egg with the BKB. Ollie, he goes down, but Nothing to Say. He's a victim of the aggression of IG. And now, well, no trance, no damage, no save, and Troll's dead too. These heroes on LGD are just getting ransacked.
Very awkward initiation there. Like, AA is dead. Nothing to say, just uses BKB, waves high ground, and tries to burst the Shadow Shaman, who thanks to Nether Shawl, which is, by the way, one of the most broken T2 items, gives 25% magic resistance, doesn't even come close to dying, and the Troll also commits BKB ult to kill a Phoenix Egg.
Yeah. And then without that ult.
Weird decision making coming out across the board for LGD here. Now they're 8k behind. And we said they are not allowed to fall too far behind into the mid game. Now they're crumbling.
Yeah, they really are starting to crumble. They need a couple more items. You're watching Innocence just die death after death. And they'll try to go with this arrow. Do they have the damage to get the kill here on the Emo? He's getting low. Ice Blast. Is the percentage right? No, it is not. It looks like he'll survive and Jinkyu won't.
And both supports dead. Now it's a 10k lead. They just keep fighting with lower numbers. And you can't afford to. Like, 2 of your strongest heroes are dead.
Yeah. And now you're fighting without 2 heroes. 5-on-3 is not a fight you want to take, especially behind by this much. All of a sudden, IG feel very confident going onto the high ground. LGD, their answers are limited.
Yeah. They might not be able to get a Rex here straight off the bat, but they're sitting in a very comfortable position here.
LGD in a tough spot.
Yeah. Nothing to say is actually listening to this. He's going Manta now instead of Linken's. Good boy. That's what I want you to do. So do it.
I do think they are listening. You got to give a better do it. You got to give the what, Palpatine do it.
Do it.
Exactly.
Oh, that's the best Star Wars scene. Arrow on Timber.
Yeah, they've got the arrow at the Vessel. Ice Blast is going to come through. They already got the kill into JT, though. They use the Supernova. They're going to try and blow this up. I'm not sure they get it. Do they have the right clicks? Yes, they do. They'll get 2 kills. The Serpent Wards are committed, but onto the back lines, looking over at Kaka. They've taken on the third. Side of his Searing Chains with the damage coming out from the Maelstrom, procking all over the place. Innocence, as well as Jinkyu are gone. And Ame now, without the Battle Trance, needs to run. He's been dusted. But Weaver backs out of that fight as he gets closer and closer to the Tier 2 tower.
Yeah, now that's what they needed to do earlier. They just burst down the Timber Saw, fight the fight, 4v5, end up trading quite well for themselves. They're down 10k, so any trade like this, I say trade, they kill 3, lose 2. Very good for them. But again, it might be a little bit late for that.
Yeah, but every opportunity they'll take.
Yeah.
It is a
and
tough
they still
one.
outscale them, of course. So 1, 2, maybe 3 more fights like that, and they're completely back into the game.
Yeah, but now Kaka's got the Psychic Headband. This is dropped for him every time.
Yeah. It's a great item for Shadow Shaman. Together with the Ether Lens, you are pretty much shackling almost full screen.
Yeah.
And hexing.
It's stupidly gross.
Yeah. All core players hate it. Especially if you're mobility reliant, like the Morphling.
Morphling, who has the Yasha, still looking for the Manta. Troll, he wants
Dagger.
the Basher, but
He went
instead
Blink.
goes Blink.
Which is an okay item. You can follow up on any target that's roared or ice blasted. Goes really well with those 2 heroes, so it makes a lot of sense. You just want to burst down the target that they managed to initiate on.
Yeah.
Now Ember also going into the Linken's. This beast is going to have a very tough time roaring anyone.
Roche up in 2 minutes, 15 seconds. So that's a long one. Bloodthorn finished off for Fly. Ooh, that's damage.
That's damage, yes. A lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
However, they're still fighting into the BKBs.
Yeah.
So it won't be a lot of damage on the cores until the BKB is down. And of course, Morph is... No, he's not itemizing into Manta. He's itemizing into a Saint Jasha. So potentially, post-BKB, it could be a very impactful item.
Yeah. And, you know, the thing here is maybe that Bloodthorn's not meant for the cores at the moment because we've seen their aggression go right onto the supports, take out these heroes, and, well, then you're fighting pretty much 3v5 immediately. That Ice Blast has to come from a distance. Innocent's positioning has to be pristine, and it's a bit of an issue for him overall, as obviously you can see they've got the gap closed, and they have a way to kill him very quickly.
Yeah. Now smoke up here from the Dire. If this Timber gets caught, he will die.
Goes to the Flamethrower. We've seen this before where Masaros in the Southeast Asia region was using that and getting a lot of success with it. Damage on the JT, they just blow him up. Maybe he won't get success as Ollie follows him to the grave. They've got themselves a Sight of Fist as well as a Shackle. They're going to look to try and get the kill here on a Faith Beyond this. They kill off Kaka. That's going to be 3, now 4 with Ember going down. You lose Innocence. Very quickly did they dispatch these heroes as Faith Beyond, he does lose his life to Fly. And JT, he has bought back. So opportunities are rising for LGD as they're starting to dip their toes into the late game, and they're only down 6K.
Yeah. Double buyback he committed from IG. Roshan up in 20. And they will probably be able to get this Aegis. Well, I say that,
they don't have
Ember's dead for
Beast.
50.
Yeah, Ember's dead for 50. They don't have Beastmaster. Battle Trance is down for 50. It might just be a 5-on-5 wait.
Yeah. But you do see, right, this Timber died in a second.
Heartbeat.
He's not tanky at all.
I wonder if he regrets that Flamethrower.
The thing is, when you play against A as a hero like Timber, no matter what you build already, you're not tanky. Like, it's just such a hard counter.
Morphling off the Manta to the Daedalus. Wow.
Interesting. I mean, it makes a lot of sense with the BKB we spoke about, the target that they go on. They just want to kill. So in that regard, makes a lot of sense. Waveform attacks target, goes perfectly with that. If he waves onto the Phoenix, that's a lot of damage. They're doing Roshan without the Ember.
Yeah, Ember's going to be up in just a second, and he will
Smoked up
immediately
again.
TP towards the top lane. They've got the Bloodthorn. They're trying to get the kill. The Shackle, it's going to be on cooldown coming into this one, as now they're going to go for it. They've got the Aegis down, and it's into the hands of JT. Arrow comes in with the BKB Popeye, nothing to say, and the Supernova over to the side. Nothing to say, needs to get out of this one, as LGD sit on the high ground, maybe expecting this team to come and follow this up. They've got the Hex on a Morphling. Nothing to say is low, and he'll survive for a second longer, but eventually falling to Ollie. They'll get the kill there onto Ollie and take out Kaka. So both supports are gone with no buyback available on the Phoenix, but they've got the Primal Horror that hits onto the Ember Spirit. Chakram, as well as the damage of the Whirlwind Death coming out of Jinku, and Ame TP's out. Arrow hits on a JT, and they'll escape
They're all just
with
out.
their lives.
4 TPs out. They're all just TP'd out in front of them with like 10 HP. So even though they do get the Aegis, it is... No, they lost the Aegis already, right? Timber picked it up?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, so Timber lost the Aegis already? And they only lost 1k gold advantage. It was a very awkward start to the fight. Morphling just basically did the same thing as before. BKB waved in, couldn't find the target at all. BKB runs out, he gets hexed, blown up immediately. But then Arme coming in with the Blink Dagger BKB, just killing 2 heroes all by themselves. But there's a lot of damage coming out from LGD, is all I can say.
Yeah.
And now it's Kaka that bought back. Also, JT still bought back. If those two fall in any of the upcoming fights, it's a big window of opportunity for LGD.
Hey, you take a look at this. JT getting hit up pretty hard. Ice Blast on him. Flamethrower trying to run. Supernova goes off, and nothing to say is in a bad spot once that BKB is gone, and Kaka lands the Hex. They've got the Shackle. They've taken out the Aegis as JT goes onto the high ground. I think if Morphling ends up surviving just a little bit, this fight could turn around. But look at this. They're so low on this Troll as well as the
All just
Mirana.
tipping out on like 100 health each.
Yeah.
It could have easily gone a lot worse for LGD.
Oh, yeah.
The way it stands, only down 7k, which is very manageable with the lineup they have.
For sure.
Especially when you have bursty lineups like these, everything's possible.
But they want to smoke up. They want to go again. They're going to find themselves heroes. Remnants forward. Innocence might just die for this. Arrow comes in. That's going to miss the mark. And Innocence is dead for 48. No buyback. They Remnant more. They're looking for Faith Beyond. Sight of His Searing Chains. Moonlight Shadow. They're going to pop the Lincolns with the Primal Roar. That's a bad move here from Faith Beyond, but they've got the Battle Trance too. They have the damage to get the kill here onto the Ember.
Emo rooted.
He'll eat that cheese. Try to survive. The roots. The bash is the kill out on the Emo. Kaka is also dead, but they get the kill to the troll. The BKB is going to be popped by Flyfly. The Sunray trying to keep him healthy. The arrow misses both Ali as well as Flyfly. JT with the Lotus Orb on him trying to run, as these three heroes now need to leave as they don't have buyback on the other two.
Yeah, trading the Ember there for the troll. I don't know if it's super worth it, but at least they, made them use the cheese.
Right.
It's always stings losing your troll like that. Yeah, it's diving the tier 3 like that, without any sort of information is also very risky. They do get away with it.
Just barely.
Even trade, yeah. It could have been a lot worse again. Weaver on 200 health. If he dies there, they lose the gem. Suddenly this game is completely open again.
Man, that was very close. It's always so close, these fights.
It really is.
Glepnir for the Weaver.
Interesting. Giving him some more catch.
Yeah. In a fight like that, that could have been nice.
Yeah.
Silence with the Bloodthorn, the damage, the Shikuchi, the mech. Oh, one more shot. It's going to follow him.
Oh.
And Maelstrom procs.
If the Maelstrom doesn't proc, it could have been an uphill miss. Potentially.
Percent chances favoring Flyfly.
Favoring the Weaver, probably because he chose to go Glepnir. Whose item is that in Norse mythology?
I think you guys have asked me this question before. I was not sure. Odin, maybe?
Possible. No idea. Maybe the new God of War will answer the question.
Glepnir, and that's on a Faith Beyond. He's going to be silenced now on the run. E-Blade thrown from nothing to say on a Faith Beyond, but it doesn't look like it's going to save his life. They've got the Whirling Death to get the kill, and they'll lose Innocence too. Ice Blast comes in. That's in a decent spot, but, well, Troll's gone. Emo got the kill on the Troll.
He got hexed and died in 3 seconds. Okay.
And he doesn't have buyback. He bought the Eagle Song to try and commit for the Swift Blink.
Yep, and we saw Faith Beyond buyback, but Shinkyu did not. Again, slight miscommunication coming out from the Dire side.
Glepnir again, thrown forward, just trying to do what they can to secure themselves a set of racks, maybe more. If they recognize that Troll doesn't have buyback, they're going to shift their attention over to the bottom lane, see what they can do here. They should at least get the tier 3. JT, and Disc still available for him.
Might potentially be Megas if they don't want to come into this fight without a Troll.
Yeah.
And Disc now.
There it is, getting popped.
Right away.
Faith Beyond's only level 16.
He's had a rough game. After an initial okay laning phase, in all those team fights he just gets blown up immediately.
It's actually nuts how low level he is. Compared to JT, who's 24. And that is 8 levels behind.
Looks like IG is making this lineup work somehow. Now on the brink of taking this game.
Yeah, they've broken the game wide open. They're up 18K. Roche may respawn in 2 minutes. Maybe they wait to seal that up. LGD, they've got to get some sense of urgency in this and secure the victory, because this is big on their major potential.
Well, if they lose, they're 2-3, right?
Mm-hmm. 2 waveform charges.
5-0.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, we can just see IG is like the team itself is so cohesive. There's so much chemistry. Like, they're always on the same page. It's rare to see like the mistakes that we saw from LGD, where they go in like by themselves, separate from the team. You don't see that with IG.
Nope.
They're always on the same page, really. Phoenix, the 4-staff, Ghost Scepter. Just want to make sure you get the Supernova off.
This is such an odd build from the Morphling.
Yeah, I don't know. Like here on E-Blade, BKB, Yasha, Daedalus. It's indeed a very curious one. Not one I've seen in a while.
Remnants forward. Look how far Emo is able to get.
Another one.
Trying to find something and just won't get anything there. Ooh, BKB gets popped, Sleight of Fist. Now the Remnant forward, trying to go back and forth on
Playing
Faith
with
Beyond. Did cost them the BKB though.
Clap near. But no follow-up. Arrow. Off the mark.
Ooh.
Just barely.
I almost say Kaka.
Yeah, could do. Kaka like ran back into it almost. Taking the outpost. 4 minute 40. This is such a big deal too. Like they've had the outpost for 3 consecutive times already.
Yep.
There's just no XP coming in for the Dire side.
No, not at all.
No, they're just waiting for the Roshan, trying to play it as safe as possible, which will spawn in 10 seconds. And really, LGD has a very hard time even getting out of base. If they do want to commit there, IG doesn't even have to do anything, you know, they can just wait until the lanes push in. They need to deal with the lanes, then they kind of go into Roshan, which will be very fast with the Shaman wards as well as the Bloodthorn. This game is looking really, really good for IG.
This will be third Roche.
Third
It's
Roche.
Axe Blessing. Swiftblink picked up. Maybe that's a game changer.
Possibly. Axe Blessing, I could see that go on the Weaver.
Troll if he can get it for LGD.
Yeah. Doubtful though.
They're going to go in right now. It is a spot in the game that I think LGD just, they need to
They
go.
need to fight.
Yeah.
Right now.
And I think
Smoke up
they're,
and go.
they're just
They
going
just
too
said.
slow. I don't know if they're going to get there in time. It's half health. They've backed out of the pit. And that's because they see them coming in. JT's going to get that A and just pop. They've got the Hex that's bounced off thanks to the Lotus Orb. Icarus Dive coming through, but they get the kill on Kaka. He's not going to have buyback there for 70 seconds. They've dusted them up. Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains coming through onto the Mirana, looking over at Faith Beyond, who's never able to get the Primal Roar off. He's dead for 90 seconds. They look over at JT. They get the kill onto the Timber. He's dead for 120. Oh, Supernova goes off, and that's going to save the life of Emo. Jinkyu, Innocence, both gone. 3 heroes dead, and they don't have the Battle Trance. They'll get the kill onto Ame. They look over as this is the time-lapse used. Nothing to say, trying to survive. He's got the wand, but does he have the damage? He'll pop the Lincoln. Sleight of Fist is used, but they're around him, and they will kill off Ame. Or nothing to say, sorry. Everybody's gone on LGD.
All no buybacks.
Ooh, yeah.
Potentially the GG here. We'll see if they just choose to force it down. They're going to go for Megas and then realize they have no buybacks. Probably go for the Throne after. And there's just no saving this game. We see the GG come out here.
Yeah, GG is called. IG take it over LGD.
Yeah, we can see why they're unbeaten. Now 5-0. The team is just always on the same page. Like these mistakes that LGD did, they're very subtle, small mistakes, but they do add up, you know, and IG just does not make these mistakes. Nothing to say. 3 or 4 times we saw it, he just goes in by himself, isolated from his team. BKB is